Hey everybody, welcome back for another Flea Market Finds episode. This is going to be stuff I picked on May 4th at the tractor show down in Connecticut. This would be the spring version of the tractor show that meets 3 times a year. They have a spring, summer, and fall show. So let's dive right in. I got some pretty good deals. So the very first buy of the day, dealer was still putting stuff out on his table, and he happened to put this neat little hacksaw down, and I picked it up because it caught my eye. I hadn't seen one this style before. And I said, that's kind of neat. And I was thinking, boy, I got too many of these kind of tools already. But when I asked him how much, and he said $3, I said, oh, you're practically forcing me to buy it. So this is marked Wilson 107, Pat Pending. There are currently 0 of these on eBay. But when I did sold auctions, one of these sold for $25, the asking price. Somebody used to buy it now. So apparently it's got a little bit of collectability to it, but kind of a neat little saw. I saw another vendor, he had these books that caught my eye, and then he had this one Mitutoyo box. It says box $5, so I figured, oh, sure enough, it's an empty box, and it is. But it's an interesting Mitutoyo box because it was one that originally would have had a caliper and a micrometer, and I'm not sure what would have gone in here. Doesn't really matter, but I just thought it would be a nice little box for a Mitutoyo dial caliper. I've got a couple extra ones that don't have boxes. By the looks of the shape here, this might have been a digital set, digital mic and digital micrometer. But anyways, he had 5 on that, and then he had this set of Machine Shop Practice volumes 1 and 2 by K.H. Moultrecht. Okay, and they're actually got a little bit of mildew on them, but they're actually in pretty good shape. He had $10 for the set of 2 of those. And then this was kind of neat. Never seen this before. I mean, sure, I've seen the Machinery's Handbook, 25th edition, but this is a whopper. This thing is a huge version of it. I've never seen one this big. So I haven't looked yet. But honestly, I think it's the same. I think it's just got larger type. And it won't fit in your little drawer on your little Machinery Handbook storage drawer on your tool chest, that's for sure. But I just thought that was neat as can be. And he only had $10 on this. So I went over and I said, hey, you got 25 for this pile. Would you take 20? And he said, sure. So I got this for $20. Very happy with that. Recently I was in an estate sale that I featured, and one of the things I didn't buy at the estate sale was a block and tackle like this that I saw hanging up in their garage. It pulled out of the barn. I forgot what they had asked for it, but I just didn't like it enough to want to buy it. And then I came across these 2 from a guy that I buy from there who tends to do cleanouts and sell stuff really cheaply. So I got this nice big one right here, which is marked, it looks like it says Medesco Products of Easton, Pennsylvania. It's got kind of a neat little emblem. So there we go. Give you a look at this name on here, or whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool. Well, people will buy these for decoration, whatever. And then this little one has this cool little emblem with an anvil on it. And it has this elaborate clasp on it here that, let's see, if you pull down like that, spring-loaded. So I got the pair of these for $9, so I think I did really well with those. I don't buy a lot of these old lamps, these old lanterns, because oftentimes they're overpriced, but this again was a dealer that I know from past dealings with him, he's usually very reasonable, and it caught my eye because it had the red shade. I know some of these ones with the red shades are sometimes railroad use lanterns, which I guess have a higher value. This seems to be in pretty decent shape. Clearly says Monarch on the base here, but then it says Dietz, which I've heard of that name. D-I-E-T-Z, and then it says New York, USA, And up on the top here, it says New York, USA. Dietz Monarch. So don't really know what the value of this is, but I gave 12 bucks for it. Well, it looks like I called it right. With the red glass globe, apparently this is worth $30 to $50. And if this had the clear glass, it would be worth significantly less, apparently. And even with the red glass, I don't know what the condition here. It's kind of quite a bit of rust. Not sure how well I'll do on that one. The guy I got the two big shackle pulleys from sells stuff really cheap. He had a couple of these neat little organizer units here, and normally, because I've bought quite a few of these in the past, I don't like to pay too much for them. But when I asked him how much he wanted for them, he said $2 each. I was like, wow, that's cheap. So ended up buying a couple more. Sometimes these have labels on them with the maker's name, which makes them a little bit more interesting. This one seems pretty basic, and it does have the indentation on the top here. The idea is that these would kind of stack. And from that same guy, he had this CB radio there, which it's just a GE. It's not sideband or anything. I do believe it's going to be a 40 channel. Almost all the digital readout ones end up being 40 channel. And it's missing the little piece that would have gone here, the little label, which is unfortunate. But other than that, it actually seems pretty clean. I just kind of got a feeling that this might be this is the original mic, that this might be one of these situations where it was a radio that was working perfectly and just taken out of somebody's vehicle. And I got it for $5. Probably the best buy of the day might be right here. Spotted just this much of this box sticking out from a pile of stuff on a table because these guys were just getting unloaded and getting set up. And I happened to mention to him, I said, hey, what's in that red box? And he reached down and he pulled it out and he says, oh, it's this nice old level. And I was like, wow. He opened it up, sure enough, beautiful Starrett cast iron level, just clean as a whistle. I mean, one of the cleanest ones of these I've come across in a long time. Clearly marked right there, LS Starrett. That's just a real beauty. So with the original box, oftentimes on these early Starrett boxes there'd be a label on the end here. I got a feeling it might have been here and it might have fallen off. 25 bucks for that's a heck of a deal. This is the only chainsaw I bought this trip, and it's really in rough shape, and it's missing some parts. But check it out. They had $2 on this, and it still had the bar on it, and the bar was really worn. So I actually didn't want to deal with that. So I told him, I said, look, it was so loose I was able to just, this nut was missing already. This nut was so loose I was able to just unscrew it by hand. Took this off, popped the bar off. I said, I'm going to give you the $2 for the saw, but I said, I don't want that bar. It's too far gone. You could scrap it. He said, no problem. And they explained to me that this saw, they believe, was a running saw until it fell off of the truck or something, and this got all smashed. So why did I buy it? Well, it's got what looks to be the original carburetor on it. Somebody already robbed the pull start out of it. But what I'm hoping is in there is I'm hoping it's got a good ignition coil. So I picked up a saw a few episodes ago. You may have seen I showed a steel saw that I picked up that was missing the ignition coil, and it's like the first thing I want to see is whether or not throwing a coil in that thing will bring any life back to it. From one of the guys I buy from pretty regularly, or I see at every show, and I make a point of stopping and talking with him. He had this old best test indicator in this really ratty box. It actually works perfectly fine though, so that's all right. It's missing all the accessories except for there's some extra points in here, but everything else is missing. And like I said, the box actually is kind of not so great. And then he also had this Brown and Sharp Best Test box completely empty, but I got these two for 12 bucks. And then from another guy, I spotted he had, I was looking at some stuff and he says everything there is a buck. So I spotted this tape measure. This is a Justice Rowe and Sons. Now Justice is spelled Justus. There's a strange spelling. ROE. And that's from Patchogue, New York. 100-foot tape measure. Actually looks like it's in decent shape. That first part's there was a little rough, but it seems to be okay. This case is like delaminating. It's almost like it's leather that's coming undone from below, but I don't know. For a buck, I took a chance on that. Another guy had this big old tap wrench, and he saw me looking at his stuff, and he says, "Hey, long story short, he recognized me from YouTube." And oddly enough, not so much from my flea market finds videos, because when he said he recognized me from YouTube, I said, "Oh, and you know what I look for?" And he kind of chuckled. But anyways, he actually said that he became a fan of mine through my series on the International 350 tractor, the IH350. That my video, I forgot what he had for an International Harvester tractor, but my video was very helpful to him. So then I picked up this number 7 tap wrench, probably a Greenfield, and I asked him, I says, how much for the tap wrench? And he said, just take it, you can have it. So he gave it to me as a gift. So I was very happy to receive this, receive those accolades and get the free gift. Nice number 7 tap wrench. Another guy had a bunch of stuff that was in a box that was kind of really rusty junk. Went through the whole box and I found these couple items here, put them together and got them for 8 bucks. This is a some sort of like a bushing or bearing installer set. Okay, so you can unscrew these ends here and change the size. So I'm pretty sure these are for tapping out or tapping in bearings, maybe. The idea maybe being that you would slide this down like a little slide hammer. It's made in the USA. It's a number 29. So if I wanted to, I could probably find out who made it, but I really don't care. There's several different sizes of these little stepped like bushings or plugs that will screw onto the end here. 6 of them in there, so I don't know if there's any missing, and I don't really care. I'm going to keep that just for the occasional times when I need to push some bearings in straight. And then he also had this, which at first I thought was a screw jack that I had never seen before, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the heck is this thing? And then I noticed it was threaded on the inside. And so then I asked the guy, and he said he believes it's a cap for an oil fill on an old oil tank. You know, like on the outside of a house or commercial installation. So I don't know what it was originally, but I noticed, hey, look, he's got this part right here that screws in, right? It's got, for some reason, it's got this tapered plug, right? So that allows this to spin separately, almost like the bearing surface when you have a screw jack, right? So why couldn't this be a nice little screw jack for somebody? You turn this and this will want to stay, you know, stay put, right? So that's what I'm going to end up selling this thing as, is a screw jack. It doesn't have too much range. Well, actually, I guess it does. Probably about an inch. There is a name on the top here, but I can't quite make it out. Oh well. Here's a nice set of dividers. Really long ones. They've got a really hand-wrought look to them. They've got some design features here that were incorporated into it to kind of give them a little bit of style. You can see there's little circles. There's a little circular design there. See, there's some lines cut into it there. A little heart-shaped wing nut to tighten it. they just seem really primitive. And I just liked them, so I gave $5 for them. I don't know whether or not this is broken on the end here, or if it's just the way that the guy made it. You can see the shape there on the end seems a little odd, but I don't care. For $5, I love them. So these Starrett boxes caught my eye right off the bat. Unfortunately, all that's in here is rolls of feeler stock, but there's quite a bit of it here, and I ended up getting all 3 of these boxes. See, that looks like that one might not even be opened. Same thing with that one. So according to the boxes here, each one of these is 20 feet. It says 666-16, 666-20. And this is 666-20 also. So I'm guessing that's 16 thousandths and 20 thousandths. And the 666, that's, you know, the sign of the beast. That's kind of weird. Satanic feeler gauge. Anyways, I got all 3 of those boxes. You had $5 a piece on them. I got the 3 for $12. And I put together this lot right here for $35, which includes this big honkin', looks like it might be new old stock, round nose 2-flute end mill. This 4-flute double-ended end mill. This is razor sharp, feels like it's brand new. This is a Cleveland 25-30 high-speed steel. He had 5 on that, but like I said, I put together a package deal here. This also he had 5 on. This is a carbide center, it's marked as, and sure enough, it's got a carbide. It's what it is. This is the half center, in case you've never seen one before. So this is the half center. This would be used if you're turning between centers. The half center allows you to turn right to the end and not have to worry about hitting the center, not hitting this part of the center. And there is a manufacturer on this also. This is also a Cleveland by the looks of it. Oh no, it's not. I don't know what that symbol is. Don't know, don't care. For $5, buy that all day long. And this, he had $4 on this. This is a Pratt & Whitney, Hartford, Connecticut, patent date of 1882. I think that's been around a while. It's a threading tool. Okay, so needs to be reground, but the idea is you grind this down off the top here and you get a whole nother edge, and then as it needs to be you know, as it wears and you grind it again, you just keep adjusting it up. So kind of neat. 60 degree, but the patent date, that's what really floored me. I didn't realize that they made these that long ago. I don't know if this is the original box, but that's the box it was in when I bought it. Now this actually has a little sticker. It says Blue Point Terminal Clamp Spreader. I bet you this label fell off the outside of this box. That's not what that is though. Alright, so it was those 4 items and this for $35. So if these were all $5 a piece, say, well, that was 4. But so I ended up paying about 20 for this. And what this is this is a, yeah, pretty much he didn't give me really a discount on this stuff. This is the transfer punch set. That I've never seen one like this before in a pouch like this. Okay. So it's a nice large set. It's a 31 piece Storm. So I don't know where the heck these are made. That's okay though. Alright, coming down to the wire here. I got this plaque. Appears to be cast iron. I think it might be a reproduction. It says Valiant Hose number 2, and it's got this, you know, figure of a fireman on there yelling into a megaphone apparently, and a fire behind him. I got it for $5. I mean, some firefighter might want to just hang something like this in his man cave for, you know, 10 or $15. So hopefully I'll make a little bit of money on that. This is an American Optical scope. Clearly says American Optical up here. It's got some age to it. Looks like it was a laboratory scope. It's got, you can adjust this, so depending on how close your eyes are together, right? And then it's got 3 objective lenses mounted on it. It's got what looks like a 7 power, and then a 3 power, and then a 2 power. But I think there's a multiplier in there, because it certainly doesn't seem like it's only 2 power when it's on 2x. So anyways, I just thought it was a kind of a neat lab scope. And usually these stereoscopes like this, when I see them, they're kind of pricey, even though they're old and kind of outdated. But the guy said he'd take $15 for it, so I just decided, oh, the heck with it. I think he wanted 25 to start, and we got it down to 15. And at 15, I decided to just pull the trigger. It's heavy, and then it's got this knob on the side here, which I have no idea what it does. Still don't know what it does. Huh. And then it looks like there was some sort of a anvil or something that sat down here, or mount maybe, I don't know. But it might be fun to play around with. Might be able to rig up a way to get a light underneath here too. And there was a guy who was there often with machinist tools. Price is usually pretty high. Can be a little bit difficult to deal with, but he was packing up at the end of the day, and I managed to get him to agree to take 25 for this Starrett screw jack set, which looks brand new. I mean, it's just clean as a whistle. How pretty that finish is on there. And it's complete right down to even having the Tommy bar. That's what, again, makes me think that this is a brand new set. So I got this for, like I said, 25. This probably will end up bringing like $40 for it because of the condition it's in with the original box. And then also from him, I got for 30, I got this Starrett indicator. And again, because it's Starrett, tends to trade kind of high. And again, very clean looking. Nice condition, seems to be working perfectly. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it, so I'll do okay. And then from a different individual who didn't have a lot of machinist items, I spotted this this neat case here, Hartford, Connecticut, Smith Boring Chuck Company. And he had $40 of best offer on it. And what's in this neat little case, put this tape on here so it wouldn't open up while I had it packed away, is this nice little boring head with these boring bars. So I've never seen one like this before. And what I thought was so cool about it was not just that it's a brand I hadn't seen before, clearly marked right on there, the Smith, Hartford, Connecticut, Conmar. This says Conmar here and Conmar there, but that almost looks like that was engraved on after the fact. So maybe that was a company that had this. But also this kind of neat little holder is what caught my eye. Just thought it was kind of cool. So, but I didn't want to pay 40 for it, and I got them down to 25. All right, and what pick would not be complete without more CB radios? All right, so let's close out with some CB junk. So I went by this guy who had a bunch of junk on his trailer, and he had some of these radios sitting there. And I was looking at the CB radios, and they kind of intrigued me a little bit. But I said, well, what are you asking for the radios? And I think he said $15 a piece. I looked at them and I realized that they were kind of rough shape, but there were some interesting ones in here. And then he had a K40 center coil loaded antenna, brand new in the package. And I think he wanted 20, 25, something like that for that. And I told him, I said, I don't really need it. I forgot how much he came down in the price, and I just said, I was walking away, and then I said to him, I said, I think he came down to 15. I said, oh, I'll give you 10 for it. He's like, I really want to try and get 15. I said, no, yeah, I get it. I said, well, maybe I'll come back later, see if you still have it. He's like, all right. So I came back later, and I was on my way out, and I said, hey, so you still have the antenna? I said, I'm on my way out. You want to take 10 for it now? He's like, yeah, really? You can't do 15? And then I said to him, I said, well, nobody bought any of the radios, huh? He said, nah. I said, I'll tell you what. I'll give you $40 for the antenna and all the radios. And there were 4 radios that I saw there, but there was actually a 5th one he threw in behind it. And he said yeah to that. So I'm gonna show you what he gave me for the radios and stuff, what he sold me as far as the radios and everything go. But I can't show you the antenna because it has gone missing. Anyways, the radios I got were victim number 1. This is a unit N PC78 Elite. It has several weather channels built into it. Big deal. 40 channel AM only radio. Got some rough looking look to it there. Number 2, this is a General Washington. Again, this is AM, but this is an import, so it's got AM, FM mode. It's got this band switch, so it really can go outside the 40 channels and be just completely illegal. And it's got a 10 kilohertz switch on it. It's got a low-high RF power switch, which is interesting, and it's got this big old heatsink on the back here, which indicates to me that this thing might be able to push some power. This is made in Malaysia. This plug right here is for a optional frequency counter, so that's kind of a cool looking radio, right? This one at least had the cord to go with it. Number 3 is a Cobra 29 NW LTD Classic. Again, strictly an AM 40 channel radio. These were popular though, the Cobra 29s. The LTD Classic, I'm not sure, if that's a big deal or not. I think other than having the weather channels built into it. Is that what this had? Yeah, I think the NW stands for National Weather. It's got a dimmer. It's got tone built into it. I don't know. Maybe a Roger beep? I don't know. Notice no microphones, right? Number 4 is this dirty looking Cobra 29 LTD Classic. So this is like the same radio we just looked at, only this it doesn't have the NW. And again, strictly 40 channel AM, dirty, with the original microphone, but so this one's made in China, so this is not as early as the Malaysia one. Cobra microphone, notice the screws, how rusty they are. That does not bode well. That's reeks of a radio that has been in moisture. And then this was the other one that he threw in. This is made in China too. This is a little Cobra 19DX4. Cute little radio. LCD readout. Really a much more modern one. Got the wired straight in, so it doesn't have a plug for the power. So that's why that one hasn't gone missing. Yeah, so we did have one more Cobra mic in here. It's a fairly modern looking one. 4-pin, so I'm guessing this is probably for that really small LCD one that I just pulled out, but it might work on these other radios. And we have this bag of, well, this is just a bag of assorted, okay, these are the thumb screws for the sides of the radio to put them on the brackets. This is a bracket for, well, this has got a bracket on it, so I don't know what this is. That's probably just trash. And he also gave me, he just wanted to get rid of everything I had. He had this, so he gave me these 2 brackets he had, which We'll fit some of these radios. This unit and Bearcat external speaker. Oh, that's what this is. I bet. Yep. Fedtro PA speaker. Powerhouse. Oh, I found where I had misplaced it. Anyways, that's it. That's the K40 antenna that I picked up. So I am into the antenna for $10, and then I'm into those radios for another 30. But this is kind of a neat K40 Plus series antenna. It says it could take up to 6,000 watts, which is pretty impressive. Frequency 26 to 30 megahertz, so your export radios will love it. 10 and 11 meter ready. Yeah, right. It's a center-loaded 8-gauge copper performance coil for unsurpassed power handling. Fade resistant, blah blah blah. So that's what it looks like. Just look at the dust on it from wherever it was stored, but brand new old stock K40. And like all K40 antennas, as far as I know, have always been made in the USA. Alright guys, now we can call this video a wrap.